So we can start. This is the first episode of ZORYA podcast in 2026. We had the second one. We had a break. Like in the Friends.
Yes.
Ross and Rachel. They had a birthday. If you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know who I will be in the story of Friends. But,
And we are starting second episode with a special guest. His name is Jürgen. He will present himself. So I'm happily working with Jürgen. I'm thinking he's a wonderful person, not only in technology but also in the sphere he's working. He's passionate what he's doing. This is I like in people. When people are not, he receives money for what he likes. Not many people happy to do that. But first, I want to start just presenting our podcast to Jürgen a bit. So, ZORYA, which means like first bright star in the sky. So we are talking about technology, how it influencing our lives. So we are a bit more shining. I don't know. We are more inspired by the technology, not frustrated by technology, but inspired by technology. And today, what we are going to discuss with Yulia and Jürgen today, and Eugene, of course, or Євген in Ukrainian, about social profit, social tech, and for our Ukrainian listeners, it's in Ukraine or Eastern Europe, this specter is not of economy. It's not that developed, I must say. And in Belgium, it's a huge portion of Belgian economy. Actually, it's social profit tech. And I know a few stories, but Jürgen will tell more about this. So. Probably it's better to start, so that was my introduction. So please, Jürgen, present yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm Jürgen, Director and Head of Social Profit at asUgo. I'm passionate by consultancy. I've always worked in consultancy. And the last couple of years, 5, 6, 8 years, mainly working in the social profit sector. So working with foundations, NGOs, associations. There are grant-giving organizations, there are fundraising organizations, a mix between both. And then there are people that want to focus on sustainability, on education, on youth, sport. It's really, really diverse. And it's, as Eugene said, it's a sector which comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of passionate people, but a lot of challenges in the sector. We'll come back to it probably. But it's a nice sector because I like the angle that you both are covering. Well, how can technology influence our lives positively? There's also a bit the angle that's really living more and more even in the sector, saying, okay, we want to have an impact on positive impact on people's lives. Life is as it is, but let's try to make a difference, and we'll see. There are more and more players that really want to make a difference now.
So maybe just out of curiosity, so that's a private company, but there you have a department,
yes.
The non-profit department or a social impact department.
Yes, actually, we have 65 people working in Belgium and 15 in Portugal. And overall, there are 20 people working full-time for non-profit or social profit projects, social profit organizations, which...
Impressive.
It's a lot, and it's nice to see people that are so motivated by it as well, because, again, it's a sector with a lot of motivated people, but the maturity for certain things is higher in social profit, but less maybe on others. But people like it more and more. So yes. So
I heard that for Belgium, it's 12% of jobs are actually in social profit sector,
which is most people don't even know. So most people say, "Oh, it's social profit, so it's maybe something." Some people will say, "Yeah, 5%," but it's. Last couple of years, it grew from 8 to almost 12%, and in Europe, it's growing more and more too. in Brussels, in Belgium, we're lucky that it's living really a lot, especially in the center of Belgium. In Brussels, there are a lot of social profit organizations with international dimensions, local dimensions, but all over the place. The social collaboration lives really, really a lot. Yeah.
And my question is probably personal, starting with personal questions. How did you choose this profession? Because again, it's still it's a technology. Still, we're talking about CRM. We're talking about Salesforce. We're talking again. It's a piece of software, and you are combining in your daily work again people management work, as I know, but also personal part. Personal. How it was for you? How did you pick this work for you? Not just technology, but also social aspects.
Well, the social aspect came over time. I've always done consultancy, so what I love is the mix between intellectual challenge and human challenge in the end, because consultancy, that's all about that. And then when you're done with a project, you think you're the king of the world, and then you start a new one and you need to start all over again, because every situation is different. So you learn really a lot, project after project after project. And so after having done it a lot for, large companies, large corporations, I've also done it for self-driving cars, etc. A lot of intellectually very stimulating experiences. With one small experience with an organization giving microloans in Belgium. So it was really at the crossroad of for-profit and social profit. And it sparked something, and then there was a next one for the Belgian Foundation Against Cancer, and then little by little, one experience after the other, I started to like it privately. I'm very active in that field too, and it's a matter of personal affinity, of course, and then the timing. The timing really plays a big role too, because it's a sector that's opening up more. In the past, it was very closing. You have never worked here, stay outside of our zone.
And from your perspective, it's easier to come to this sector now. If, for example, someone, finishing university, for example, building a skill set in technology, for example, Yulia, she's a software developer, and imagine Yulia or someone like her wants to go to the sector. It's easier, or it was easier before to come?
It's easier now.
Easier now.
It's easier now, and it's even fascinating to see that certain organizations that are now led by, young starters, a lot of women, want to be much more professional than what was done in the past. There is one organization that I find really inspiring on that level. It's called Team for Job in Brussels. They coach people to find jobs. And from the very first moment that we had exchanges with them, you see that they have very high expectations for themselves to be efficient, to be future-proof, and they're really forward-looking. They look to the future. They want to improve all the time. So it's not only focusing on the impact that they want to have. They also think on how they want to do it with technology, with another way of getting organized. And nowadays, I see that more and more. So yes, definitely there is more and more potential. It's more easy now than it used to be in the past. Definitely.
So you inspired? What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds really great. And I think since we are both Ukrainians, I wonder what is the percentage of the social sector is it right now in Ukraine? And I think maybe we're not there yet, but we're definitely moving towards that direction at the moment. It's so important. So it's really great to have you here and to share your experience. Yeah. And then we are a technology podcast, and moving to the technology part, I wonder if there is any difference from the technology perspective in the for-profit companies versus non-profit companies or social sector. Or is it really becoming something same level, same approach, just to be more efficient, for example, or more professional, etc.?
There are a lot of similarities between for-profit and social profit. the way organizations look at it is different. For-profit, well, their challenge is, well, they have a lot of budgets, but they don't know how to spend it. In non-profits, it's the other way around. They have a lot of ideas, but finding the budget is a challenge. So in social profit, more and more, people find a way to do maybe smaller things, but to move on faster. And so the challenges are really similar. It takes more time. Historically, there is still, the social profit sector still has to gear up compared to the for-profit sector. It's gearing up fast, but there's still, for data, CRMs, a lot of technology matters. The old organizations still need to gear up. The one thing that's really surprising, that it's been surprising already since 3-4 years, 3 years now, is that when AI became something big, suddenly ChatGPT and others got released. Surprisingly enough, the social profit sector jumped on it very quickly. It's still a debate, what can they use, what not, etc. But there are a lot of organizations that experienced with it very quickly. In Brussels, there is an international organization focused on music education. As soon as it came out, 3 months later, there was a huge conference in Belgium of the sector, everyone meeting each other, and then we had a beer together. And they said, yeah, we're using it all the time because, well, we're publishing in so many languages, and so we use it, we write it once, we translate it, and everyone was saying, yeah, but it doesn't work, quality is not good. Well, it saves us a lot of time. So the reflex is, well, we don't have enough resource, we don't have enough time, so let's start, let's play, etc. So they played with it much faster than companies that over-engineered before they moved. Now things are changing, of course. So the challenges are the same. The way people work on it is different.
So in the end, there can be a higher adoption of AI, actually.
It could be
social profit.
It could be, which is actually very surprising. There could be higher adoption. The big debates that are now coming is, well, the sustainability part, the ethical part. There are larger organizations that say, okay, let's continue to experiment, but before allowing everyone officially to use it or buy tools, well, the sustainable footprint, etc., is still a debate in some organizations. So they allow people to play with it themselves, and they do experimentation. Deploying it everywhere takes a bit more time, but yes, it's a game changer. It's especially you ask the question about younger generations, etc., that are more technologically savvy. They really make a big difference. We were lucky a year or two ago to give AI inspiration trainings here in Belgium, and was the head of digitalization that wanted to propose it for the employees. And then when we asked one of the first questions, who is already using? Well, almost everyone was raising hand, and so the guy organized, what? Everyone is already using
Can
it.
we still teach you anything?
Actually, we help to sell AI. what was the part, But actually, it's about adoption. You see, even if you buy and licenses, if any organization, profit or non-for-profit, having money, like this, but still adoption matters. Adoption here is a core, and even now, it's like to me, having ChatGPT free, for example, ChatGPT 0.5, the difference was, huge. Now there is ChatGPT 5, even start counting, versions, But the use cases also grow, actually, at the moment. Use cases grow. We are probably, everyone get used to this at the moment, most, so we are using it, and even me, I'm realizing, hey, I stopped building my personal use cases, I stopped somewhere, But this technology also evolves. And I look at my script a bit, and I really, for last few 2 days, I'm looking at only free lines, and social about the rise of social tech. So it's data, community, social missions. Jürgen, do you agree about this? So data, community, and social missions, or we can add more pieces to this puzzle? What do you think?
Well, they fit more and more. You asked the question on how they're using, etc. To increase impact, you need more data. You need to understand better who our audiences are historically, social profit. Everyone knew everyone, because all information was in the head of the people. But everyone agreed about something different. So nowadays, data makes a difference to make choices, to try, to play, to interact. And since 2 years, there are much more exchanges also between organizations, more between communities, ecosystem, etc. So the mix about social profit data, community, etc., that combination is becoming more and more relevant, definitely. I would add in that mix the importance of curiosity and the importance of debate too, because it's through exchanges with people that while you shape your opinion, that you get out of your bubble and that you can exchange experiences, so that community and the impact of both your mission and the data becomes bigger. So exchanges are becoming more and more important, rather than having your own perceptions and being convinced that you're the best. You can be the best of them.
And I was reading somewhere that in the past it was more about project than the community. So there was a project and you bring it to the end. And now it's more about having community and ecosystem rather than, sticking to a specific project.
Yeah, that depends from organization to organization. But you can look at from the other angle, the people, no matter all of us, communities were much more interested to be part of this and that, and social profits understand that too, so that they need to create a community feeling, they need to create more impact feeling, etc. So also for them, they need to play with it, because everyone is saying, for profit, it's tough because there is competition. Well, social profit competition is higher because they sell something that no one in the end wants or asks for in the beginning. So understanding your customers, understanding society is important, and community feeling is getting more and more important.
Basically, it's a startup, no? Basically, it's really startup mode.
Yeah, startup mode. Actually, the startup mindset is really important. Being able to reinvent yourself regularly is really important. Even more for organizations that already exist since a while, because they say, we're continuing to do what worked all the time, and then
only till a certain point. It can be your cash cow, but you need to reinvent yourself.
But at a certain moment, you need to reinvent yourself, and by the time you reinvented yourself, it's maybe too late. So the startup mindset, startup scale-up mindset is becoming more and more relevant.
Because basically, you're looking for a business model. It says, something like, so what's a startup? It's a temporary company which created to look for a business model. So, and until you have resources, you're looking for that for that model.
Yeah, and you're talking business model. There is a business model Canva. There are different versions of it, and there are in the social profit sector more and more organizations, more the larger ones, that get the flavor of it too. Because in social profit, people can have different relationships with you. You can be someone attending events. You can be a volunteer. You can be someone giving money. But all those different relationships, your customer relationship is much richer, actually. And organizations need to play with that.
Yeah, and you have more stakeholders. And at some point you also mentioned about the value in different companies. And I think in private companies it's quite clear. Your value is basically what you earn, or maybe the price of a share. And then in the non-profit companies, then what is the value? I mean, on one hand we know, but I'm still curious to hear it from you. And how do you measure it?
It's a very good question. The showing value in social profit it's tough. It's hard. It's done in two ways. There is since a couple of years more and more demand anyhow to make the impact more measurable. So if you give money for an organization, on a giving page, for instance, you will see more and more well, give 15 euro and it will give 200 meals for families. In the past, was just give us 15 euros. But so now more and more the impact is shown based on, well, small numbers that you give. The total impact, well, in annual reports, and we have been reading quite a lot of annual reports, well, it's mostly quantitative impact that is shown. Oh, we distributed 10,000 meals this year. We did all of this. The qualitative impact is much harder to measure, and that's still in progress. And it's still something where there are even two tendencies. The last couple of years, there is more and more about impact measurement, reporting, etc. But since 2-3 years, well, the trust-based philanthropy, well, exploded. Well, it grew really a lot. The former wife of Jeff Bezos, Mackenzie Scott, well, she has been giving money and tons of money every year, and she does it more on a trust basis. In the past, and it still exists, people had to submit a folder and then say, okay, and when you get the money, you do reporting, etc., which makes sense. You know, you want to be sure that when you give money, they use it well, and to know if they use it well, you measure it, and it makes sense for, well, companies too. And she does it the other way around. She screens organizations, or her team screens organizations before, and then she says, I give you money. You didn't ask for it, but I give you money.
Trust in you.
The trust part is a big one. So she screens a lot. So it's a bit compromise. In fact, people don't know it much, but her team is screening organizations. But afterwards, she says, it's trust-based. You don't need to report at all. Put your energy in creating impact. Don't put your energy in hiring a data scientist or a reporting person that suddenly needs to build reports.
Explain where my money went.
Yes.
I think in the end, reporting makes sense to a certain level, because if you know that this company provides, let's say, a certain amount of millions of meals a year, that's already the good data. But it's good also to avoid going into the details on each specific donation, like how did we spend this particular amount of money, because it basically went to fund the mission of donating all those millions of dishes.
And that's in the we know a lot about grant giving organizations or fundraising organizations. It's a space we all know, but there is a space a bit less known in the sector. It's all about impact finance. So it's financial investments that are done, expecting a low return, but a more societal impact. And some of those impact investors learned the hard way that certain of those impact investments, they want reporting because often it's former VCs that are doing that, etc., and it's changing. So they're still asking reporting, but at once discussion with someone working at the Jacobs Foundation in Switzerland, he says, there has been one case, we invested in an organization and we trusted the two founders, it's a wife and a husband, and they made great things. And then a year after, they called us and saying, it has been a hell of a year because my wife does a lot of operational work, so I need to do the reporting, but I cannot do reporting. I'm bad at data, so it took them a lot of energy and time to do reporting, and that's something where a balance needs to be found. Reporting is needed. I mean, you need to be a bit operationally efficient, also to see what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
But then you shouldn't change.
You shouldn't spend all your energy on that and then actually don't do the main job.
Indeed. The job is not to create reporting.
Yes,
it's to
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question about, a year ago, the great breakup happened between Europe and the United States. and Ukraine probably the child of that breakup as well. So, but it's a stupid joke. But there is American doing things, and there is European doing things, and sometimes they completely different thinking. And from your perspective, Jürgen, what sort of thinking, how it differs? If you're talking about social profit, social tech, and so on. Before you're saying this, you're saying your answer. So I just remember when I lived in Canada, there was I remember how they invited. So there was a gala, they fundraising money for something, and imagine they were sending invitations for that gala on the golden invitation, really golden invitations. So it's
like a golden plate.
Exactly, like 10 euro, 20 euro, for invitation card to invite, and you need to spend $200-300 to be part of that gala. What a crazy people. You can spend this money, just invite me on the email, and you're still coming to the event. But they, so that's why I realize it's a different way of thinking. It's a different one. So how Europe different, or we can focus on Belgium if the market,
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's not an easy one. The Anglo-Saxon model is different than the European one. Even in Europe, you have a lot of differences, but the Anglo-Saxon one is different. So US, Canada, UK, it's not always golden invitations, but I would love to be invited to this event.
Is your name mentioned?
But traditionally in Anglo-Saxon, especially in the US and Canada, it's really more about large foundations that have a lot of money, that pay a lot of people, and the founders get also a lot of money, that give larger sums, and then it's more larger fundraisers, etc. Historically, it's evolving too, because most of those organizations were founded by people that I'm going to change the world, we're going to do it this way. And then the last 5 years, also in the US and Canada, they understand maybe I should listen to the field too, who maybe know more about what makes a difference than me with all my money, even if the intentions are good. Well, listen to the field rather than spending it and say, I think I know it better than everyone. But so that's evolving. What's the same in Europe is that the approach in Europe is evolving too. It's really philanthropy. The sector is in full transformation. They are rethinking themselves. They really want to be relevant and make a difference. The difference with with the Anglo-Saxon model here in Europe, well, the values, the societal values are slightly different. So people want to make difference on more levels, and it's a bit less to show that you make a difference. It's really a bit more to do the difference. It's a stereotype, okay? But also for small organizations, it's okay. We want to make a difference. It's not only for the big names, etc. Here in Belgium, the landscape is very diverse. For historical reasons and legal reasons, well, we have really a lot of organizations. That maybe too many.
Many small ones.
Many small ones of 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And there is a lot of pressure now on the sector in Europe in general, but in Belgium to reinvent themselves because subsidies are changing, societal values or the attention that governments give are changing. So the sector needs to reinvent themselves. So there is a lot of pressure right now.
About this. So what happened in 2022? So including me, I came in Belgium in 2022. Yulia came long before that, but she's more experienced in Belgium. But what I noticed when I came to Belgium in 2022, there's so many organizations invented by Ukrainians or Belgians, so to help Ukrainians to adopt here, to very different for the child, for the women, for many different things, political stuff and so on. And I think 94%, not 90, okay, but 70%, I think the organization not existing anymore, because like they consume the grants, only the strongest one survived basically, and the rest, just disappeared or united with someone who is more mature and so on. So basically mortality rate as well is high. So the soil is how to say it, fruitful or fertile.
And maybe
yes.
Just to add a question here. Do you think they were launched keeping like with the purpose of being long-term or short-term? Because maybe for some of those it was by design.
More project-like.
More project-based than.
Yeah. It's still the case. It's still the case, very project-based, or one person want to do it and they don't find someone who takes over, or they're not organized for it. I mean, there's a difference between a startup mindset and organizing your organization as a startup and scale up, etc. It's like, I want to make a difference, and then suddenly it's 3 people really making impact, but they don't have an accountant, they don't have a marketing person, so they do everything at the same time, and then it works more or less until there is no money anymore, and often they put in private money in, but at a certain moment, after one project or 2 projects, they wrap up. The sector is under a lot of pressure, and there will be a lot of consolidation happening. It's not fun for some of the organizations, but it's necessary to really remain relevant and to create impact. Earlier this week, I met the owner of an insurance company. A rather large insurance company. They have 10 offices all over Belgium, and he's the 3rd generation. Grandfather founded, second one make it large, and he's 3rd generation. And he basically started in the social profit sector, because I said, no, I don't want the money and for profit, and I want social profit. And then he took over in the end the insurance company of his family, because the moment came. And he also noticed that actually social profit, to make an impact in an efficient way, it's not that easy at all. And so now he's trying to, open up special insurance services and other services for the sector to make it easier, because he also sees that the sector needs help. And I think the collaboration wave that you mentioned will play a role in that too. With more organizations talking to each other, maybe some of them will just merge, because they say, no, we're doing the same thing, makes sense, will be more efficient, and then...
someone good at fundraising, someone good at advertising, someone good at something.
Indeed. And until a couple of years, there was a lot of competition. Everyone was open for experience exchange in one direction, saying, how are others doing it? But sharing your own expertise was not done.
And most of the time it's tough, right?
Yes.
That's why you don't want to share it that much.
And now there's much more expertise and exchange.
Yeah, talking about companies and how long they last, I also have an example of a non-profit company. It's called BE for Ukraine, so Belgium for Ukraine. And I know people who launched it because it's a former owner of the previous company where I worked at. And it started all as friends going on a ski trip. And then suddenly the war started, and they realized, okay, maybe we should cancel the ski trip and try to do something. And after doing something personally, they realized, okay, there is a demand. And so they opened an NGO. And from time to time, I participate in some activities in there. So actually, they also went through some startup or business, I don't know how to explain it, stages, let's say, because in the beginning they were trying to help with many things, and then they realized, okay, we actually need to specialize to make it feasible. So now they specialize in ambulances, and they get donations for it. Then they get ambulances, refurbish them so that they can be like a mini hospital on the wheels, and then they send them to Ukraine. And in a big part, it's based on volunteers who are joining, for example, to drive the ambulance from the garage to Ukraine, which I also did. And I did talk to them, and they were sharing that, yes, every year it becomes harder and harder to collect donations. And in the beginning, it was done a lot on just the basis of having some contacts, knowing some people, and just asking who donate.
Emotional trigger.
Well, yeah, of course, in the beginning of the war, there was more emotionality about it, right? And also there were some personal connections, so they were just reaching out to people and saying like, hey, if you want to donate, you can. But people also can only donate that much, right? It's not something you can do every day. So yeah, indeed, there are some challenges.
In Ukraine, Jürgen, you're probably not aware about Ukraine. Usually, our market is also very dynamic, inside of the country. So how people fundraising, basically any major company, they're fundraising for something. It could be military, it could be social, anything. Depending on the values of the company as usual. So there are fundraisings happening. But sometimes companies, they advertise iPhone, if you want to win iPhone, donate money, something like this. If something like this happening in Belgium, what do you think? How organization trigger people to donate and to participate?
Maybe you can even give some advice from the marketing perspective or whatever perspective.
If I receive a demand, if you want the iPhone, give money. Then I'm running away.
You're not the.
I'm not clicking on the link, or I'm running away.
But you see how market is different. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's really more about showing potential impact. It's showing potential impact, very important. That's what we talk about. Okay, what will the money be used for? More and more, making the message clearer. So it's more about community feeling, personal feeling, but also making the information much lighter. In France last year, someone coined the term infobesity. So too much information is just to have it. I really like the word, because indeed that's what makes the difference more and more, that you're clear in your message. In the past, it was like writing 2 letters and then people say, oh no, and then you read another source, oh no, I will give it. Now if people don't read anymore. So you need to find a balance between being concrete, clear enough of what it will do, and triggering people's emotions, because it remains emotion too. But finding a balance of not saying too much, because otherwise, people's attention fades away very quickly. So that's definitely something. And then nowadays also trying out new formats. That's more uncomfortable for a lot of people, because usually people send out paper or send out emails, and then getting creative on the website and then marketing automation. But if you can, organizing events or supporting events makes a difference too. And coming back to the really essence of what the podcast is about, how does technology serve people? How does also data help people? Nowadays, organizations need data. I mean, if you want to send the emails, if you want to send mail, contact people, invite people, you need data, and there are less and less data available. So organizing events is becoming really one of the key things to do, because for events, people still give their personal details. In the past, until last summer or a year ago, on Facebook, you had some fundraiser things that's forbidden, or Facebook stopped that. So those that doesn't come. So left and right, data richness is fading away. Banks are giving less money, and then there's GDPR. It's good that GDPR is there, but in the end, suddenly it's like, we need to make sure that we continue to have data. And events is really one way of doing it. The challenge with the event is it's a lot of organization. But you have volunteers for that. Organizing good events is an art. Too, so that's an attention point. But events attract people, and then you need to find a way so that people put the real information in there. And that they don't all say, my email is Jürgen at Batman or Jürgen at whatever.
Or my phone is 123 123.
Indeed. So every solution comes with a challenge, but every challenge comes with a solution, basically.
And the question about the future. So we like about the future. Let's do a bit wishful thinking. Which future? Imagine it's 2020, not like 2050, but 2030. So which future we would like, to see in a few years, how the market evolve, probably European Commission does something, what do you think, Jürgen? What's a positive way, positive future we're looking for? How we define it?
Well, between the crystal ball and what I wish.
yes.
I think three, four things. One thing that I'm really fighting for, or really wish for, really hardly, is that here in Europe, societal values, humanistic values, will continue to prevail. We'll see outside, and I also hope outside, because I have a lot of friends also in Canada, US, Asia, and others. But I really hope that those societal values, the societal principles that we have in Europe, and there are differences between countries, but that here in Europe, that part of our European culture and identity really continues to prevail. Right now, it's really a challenge, a battle, but I really hope that we'll push for it, that will become stronger, and that element continues to exist in 2030, 2050, and so many generations afterwards, because I really believe in the positive side of things. The life comes with challenges, etc. But if you see here in Belgium, but also in other countries, life can be so rich. If you have kids, it's an eye-opener too. You want them to become creative. You want them to learn new things. You want to challenge them. You want them to do so many things. And in a society, in a continent where it's possible, I'm Belgium and raised in 3 languages. I'm more a citizen of the world in the meantime. That value-driven, or the safe haven for values, I really hope that it remains in Europe. That's one thing. The other one is for the social impact sector, and therefore also society at large. I hope that people will start embracing technology rather than fearing technology. There are always risks with technology, always, and with AI more than ever. So that debate needs to take place, and it's going to be a battle back and forth between economic interest and progress, etc., etc. But I really hope that people will start embracing technology and raise their voice too, and that it's an iterative process. Because historically, what we have seen is evolution brings positive things, and if the social profit sector with their AI curiosity jumps on the wagon, and rather than running behind things, finally says, okay, now we want to jump ahead, it can open doors and stimulate other ideas, and maybe also more collaborations across countries or across organizations. So embracing technology, I think, and what I also hope is that the mix between critical mind and curiosity remains. I mean, curiosity and creativity always opens doors and stimulates people. Critical thinking, critical thinking is still needed. I mean, dreaming is good, and having a more precise dream is even better. I mean, it's, and that's maybe the fourth thing. I'm really convinced that people will continue to roll up their sleeves, saying, we want to get to something, let's sit together, let's do a podcast, or let's organize an event. Let's convince people to do something. Maybe in the future, just pushing on a button and they spread the news, or maybe it will be telekinetical or telepathical. We don't know. But the community thing, or for me, the human experience and the human richness is something that can bring really a lot. And 2030, certainty. The last thing I'm certain about, in 2030, we'll continue to say, in 30 years, things will go like that. Predictions are always, in 30 years, this or that, because it's always safe. But 2030 is just a couple of years away, so...
and now the progress goes so fast, we don't need to predict for 30 years from now. We can predict for 5.
If already 3 years, we're already good.
Yes.
Yeah, but you see why, in 2 years or how many, 3 years, why in 3 years? Because we see how things evolve, on political level, again, and politics influencing money as well, and money influencing everything else.
More and more.
Exactly. That's why I'm about this and about critical thinking. Every year, in Davos, the World Economic Forum, they put the top skills. Usually like next years to come, critical thinking usually top 3. Usually it's like, but again, level of criticality is essential for the student. When we are kids, when if not school but parents pushing kids, please be critical, please, analyze things, please think double, because how many propaganda, how many AI stuff happening, how many, manipulation happening now.
Yeah, we are actually a generation who looks at AI fakes and understands it's a fake, but you never know how our children will react on that, because there are weird things like people jumping in a lava, but for somebody who never heard about lava before, it can be like, oh, I can do that as well. So.
But elder people,
So it's good to push the critical thinking.
Yeah.
And the learning abilities and the curiosity as well.
But coming back also, probably the last thing what we're going to talk about today. When I was a student, I still have that chart. I found it like almost 15 years ago, and I'm still this chart in my mind. So the chart was about inventions. So we have a timeline, and the biggest patent registered in all the history. So they happened during all the economic crisis. Every major crisis, the biggest innovations wave, engine, that in Germany the diesel engine was invented during, not prosperous time, but rather crisis,
Same for electrical bike.
Yes. Everything. I know. I considering how again in Ukraine how people suffer and because of war, because of again many troubles which we experience, but also level of innovation in drones, in fundraising. Again, it's so creative ways of doing things. Again, the critical thinking evolves a lot. There are a lot of psychological pressure happening in society, but still innovation, it's happening. A friend of mine once said the fun begins when money starts. When you don't have money, when you run out of money, so the fun begins. Basically, you need to start thinking, a bit different way. So. He was referring more to traveling, when you travel without money, but
you need to be creative.
Exactly.
But that's also what you said before.
Yeah. Exactly, and so troubles are everywhere now. Now we have a Middle East situation. Now we have push. Again, I mentioned about the money spectrum. So Europe need to, how to say this, to balance, social model, but investing in military somehow, and keep the standards not lower, but
not easy.
Exactly. So my question about this, so social innovation, Jürgen. So what's the secret sauce of social innovation here? What's your perspective? Yes, critical thinking, you will answer. But to
partnerships. For me, it's about really now, it's about partnerships. Because curiosity is good, but you also need to make something happen. I think it's going beyond the traditional borders of we're for profit, we're social profit, and we are this and that. It's about opening doors and starting collaborations. in the grant giving, in the philanthropy world, it's happening more and more. As I said, it's really a lot of introspection going on. A lot of work groups are ongoing in Belgium, in Europe. There is a Belgian Federation of Foundations on European level at Philia. There is a lot of work going on to have different and more relevant impact. But also, as I said, the impact finance space at large are different wordings for it, where actually, private investors, private actors really want to make sure that there is a difference happening now. And I think it's through those collaboration that social innovation will be stimulated. Some will focus really on making social innovation happen. Others will invest in projects or in collaborations that will trigger afterwards social innovation. It's now we're in a period of constraints, and the period of constraints happens right after a slight opening of the door. So it's now really the moment to continue to reinvent, and through those collaborations, the unusual collaborations where the black force and the white force work together. If there is a rainbow of opportunities coming out of it, I think now it's really the period to do so, and that's what will fuel social innovation: constraints, curiosity, and collaboration.
I think this is a wonderful ending. I think we can discuss 1 more hour or even 3 hours. But I really enjoyed the discussion, to be honest. I expected it this way. So happy to have you.
And it's very insightful. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me. I really liked the discussion, the exchange. Very good questions. Very good preparation too. So thank you very much.
Yes. So we are on the major platforms. If there are any questions, from the audience, please, we can refer.
Yeah, you can always leave a comment.
Exactly. So
please do so.
And we will discuss it.
Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.